All right, what's going on, guys? Alex from HD Cards back for another video. Today we are going to try a different format. We're going to do a little bit of a video podcast series, try to get these up maybe closer to once a week for you guys. I have Mark on the line here with me today, and we're going to go over the NFL draft, our thoughts, and 3 players each that we want to either collect or prospect going forward from this draft class. Mark, how's it going?
It's going pretty good, man. How about yourself?
Doing well, doing well. I'm super excited to go over this and try this kind of format. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah,
Yes.
what were your initial thoughts on the draft?
Yeah, so initially, I thought it was pretty good. So I'm a Niner fan, and it was kind of like the name of the game for the draft leading up to it was who are they going to draft at number 3. I know there was a lot of leaks about Mac Jones early and often, but I wasn't really believing any of that stuff, especially with Shanahan. I thought there was a little bit more that we could be kind of pushing. That's why I thought Trey Lance or Justin Fields, honestly, was probably going to be a better pick. But overall, I was pretty satisfied with the Niners picks. They just wrapped up basically the rest of their draft before we're recording this. So, we kind of have a good idea of what the landscape's looking like. But what were your initial thoughts or reactions to the draft, Alba?
Yeah, I definitely was a little bit surprised by the Trey Lance. I honestly won't lie. I definitely got caught up in the Mac Jones. It really seemed like that. That's like really what everybody was saying for a lot. But I definitely think the Trey Lance pick has a lot more higher upside, I would say, for sure. I don't know. I still kind of like Justin Fields, but probably two out of the 4 quarterbacks are gonna suck, and 2 of them are gonna be good. So it's really anybody's bet, I think.
No doubt about that. And I think that honestly, the people who should be the most stoked are probably the Chicago Bears fan base, because I
Definitely,
think
yeah.
the most pro ready who wasn't Trevor Lawrence was probably Justin Fields. And he slipped all the way to them. They were able to trade up and get him. And they've had Mitch Trubisky, Nick Foles. They've had just a terrible, terrible history with quarterbacks. So, that
Yeah.
at least gives them something fun to root for.
Yeah,
But I'm with you on that.
definitely huge trade up for them, and I think a great move, and at least give the Bears fans some hope for a good quarterback. It's been a
And
while
give
since
Allen Robinson somebody.
yeah, dude, Allen Robinson. Hey, his prices actually probably have gone up a little bit too. I actually haven't taken a look at that yet, but that would be a interesting look.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, to comment on that, I was on Star Stock earlier before this pod. His prices are up, and so is the rookie from last year. So I guess second-year receiver Daryl Morey or
Darnell
Mooney. Is
Mooney,
that his
yeah.
name?
No, I love
Darnell
Mooney.
Mooney.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
his
good to know.
yeah, he's the most traded today on Star Stock. So the day of the last day of the draft, he's the most traded guy on Star Stock.
Nice, nice. Yeah, I have a few of his rookies. I got some select cards of his that I pulled, and I actually have a playbook rookie auto of his as well, so that I pulled. So a nice little
You had a
stash.
pretty
Yeah.
Yeah, you had a pretty hot pull from last season with getting one of the hot 3 rookie quarterback autos. So you had a pretty good little cleanup with that, right?
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so as far as it goes today, I think we should just kind of we have kind of 2 different thoughts here, but we'll do kind of like top 3 players that we think people are going to prospect on and or collect, and then maybe some guys that you personally want to prospect on or collect. If we want to start with kind of the general public, maybe you want to talk about that first.
Yeah, so I think it's probably no surprise. The number 1 chase card this year is most likely going to be Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
Unless something crazy happens with Zach Wilson throwing some Patrick Mahomes type touchdown on week 1, I think the guy to collect is Trevor Lawrence for the foreseeable future. So I'm expecting his prices to be similar to Burrow week 1 leading up to, and then Justin Herbert, what they are currently. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, I definitely think it's going to be Trevor Lawrence. In any of his stuff already, like the early like Leaf autos and stuff like that, are already like
Dear God.
out of control. And so yeah, I'm actually kind of scared for the football like box prices and stuff this year just because of Trevor Lawrence, honestly.
The prices are already going through the roof. Looking at the flawless boxes, I think that those sold from the Dutch auction at around $50, $100. So pretty ridiculous for a short pull like that to have that kind of pricing for a box.
Yeah, and I think I don't know, as far as some of the other quarterbacks go from this draft at least, I don't know if the production is going to be there right away for most of them. Like obviously, Trevor Lawrence is going to be day 1 starter and projects to, play well. But as far
Yeah,
as like Trey Lance, I don't necessarily think he's going to start right away. Um, I mean, um, Zach
well, and I'm right
Wilson,
there with you.
yeah, Zach Wilson, I'm like, I don't know. Any of his college games that he actually had to play against good competition, he was terrible. And
I mean, yeah, just to not to cut you off or anything, but with Zach Wilson, I mean, let's face it, he's walking into a bad situation.
right.
He's walking into the Jets that really don't have any good history of growing or grooming players to actually have success. They got rid of Darnold real fast. Gase has been a train wreck. Like, I know he's going to be a big chase card because he's number two, and it seems like a lot of people in our hobby right now kind of just chase who the status quo is going after, who the gurus are saying to chase.
Hmm.
A lot of people are going to say Zach Wilson because they're just watching what the hype is and talking heads. So that's number two on my top three chase cards for this year. I think it's going to be pretty chalk. They're going to be going after Zach Wilson for the flash, but I'm right there with you. Like, let's look at his history. Does he really have enough on tape for us to go spend 300 plus on one of his cards? Like from day one, when we don't even know if the situation he's walking into, he's going to be having success with.
Yeah.
But what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you. I think I would much rather, like, from a prospecting standpoint, I would much rather go after Trey Lance cards than Zach Wilson. I mean, he just, even if he doesn't play right away, he's got a much better opportunity to succeed down the line. Like, but much better infrastructure, obviously, with the Niners, much better run organization with the Niners than the Jets. To be fair to the Jets, though, they have tried to upgrade a fair amount this offseason. I know they drafted a few offensive linemen. They signed Corey Davis. They picked up a few receivers to try to give him some weapons. Denzel Mims is interesting too. So I mean, he's gonna have a decent shot, but yeah, just in terms of like prospecting, I think Trey Lance is much more enticing than Zach Wilson.
Yeah, and I mean, Trey Lance is number one on my personal list. I mean, I'm a Niner fan, so it's a little biased, but I also think that for the price and then waiting just for a year, just having that hold, I think he's a more sound investment than the people who were holding Jordan Love last year. I mean, they were paying a premium price for him. It might be paying off right now with all the Rodgers hype, but I'd rather take the Trey Lance with the quarterback guru and Kyle Shanahan, letting Jimmy get 1 year, because apparently word is that the first call that Trey Lance got from the Niner organization outside of the draft call was from Jimmy G. So it seems like he's going to be making the steps to at least have a good relationship. So at least I have confidence that he's walking into a better situation than Zach Wilson or even Trevor Lawrence. Like, a lot of people overlook the success of the first overall drafted quarterback, but go back and check tape, because it's not like he's going to walk into a 4,000-yard season and 50 touchdowns in his first year. It's going to take a while, and Jacksonville hasn't always figured everything out. Now they got Urban Meyer, a first-year coach coming out of college. Great coach in college, but we'll see how that works. I'm just saying, I have a little bit more confidence long term in a Trey Lance right now, just due to situation.
Yeah, no, I definitely think the situation is his biggest plus, I would say, for him, because obviously he doesn't have very much college tape or production as well. He's got maybe a little bit more raw talent, I guess, but I think Trevor Lawrence is definitely a safer person to prospect on, but you're going to pay heavy early for him. So you might be able to get Trey Lance a little cheaper. I'm also, I guess, kind of curious if Mac Jones hadn't slid down to the Patriots at 15, if they would have ended up trying to trade for Jimmy G, or if the Niners would have just maybe held off on that just because they wanted Trey Lance all along.
Yeah, and I mean, it could be a possibility. I think that the Niners were more trying to play in the ball field of trading for Aaron Rodgers with that number 3 pick than anything. I think that when all the rumors came out on Friday or Thursday about all the rumors and everything, I think that the Niners called up Green Bay and they tried to get a flip for that number 3 pick plus something, maybe Jimmy. And I think the Packers said no at that time. But yeah, maybe Mac would have been a better target later on. But I think he's going to be a big public chase card, just because I can already see all the talking heads hyping him up because he's going to Belichick. He's the next Brady. I'll believe it when I see it. I mean, he still has to beat out Cam Newton, and he has to beat out Jared Stidham, apparently. So, I mean, we'll see exactly how fast he really picks that up. But what was your biggest, like, surprise from the draft, would you say?
I actually think Carolina taking Horn at 8, the corner, that I literally was watching it at dinner on my phone. I was like, whoa. And then Surtain going next to the Broncos, and I knew our boy Glenn wanted Surtain or Horn, obviously, as a Cowboys fan. And so I was like, oh, and that whole run right there with all the NFC East teams, like, that kind of messed everything up where everybody had to trade. The Giants kind of got screwed, had to trade back
Yeah.
because what Philly traded up for Devonta Smith, which I think was like a great
Yep.
move for them. So
No
that
doubt.
that definitely got a, kind of like an exciting little area right there for me.
Yeah, that was probably I would say that's probably the highlight for me too, because just seeing how much inside their own division they were kind of
Yeah.
interlooping and kind of stepping on each other. Because I thought the Giants, whatever his name is, Galliman or something or whatever his name is, I thought he did a fantastic job because
Oh,
they did
Gettleman,
kind of
the
get
GM.
like Gettleman. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
that's it,
yeah,
that's it. They did kind of get cock blocked by was it the Eagles drafting Smith,
yeah.
and then they ended up trading back, and they got kind of
It's like
quite
Tony.
the haul. Yeah, but they got the haul in picks, and they got Tooney or
Yeah,
whatever his name is, and that guy was like another beast coming out of Florida. So I think they got great value with that. That was probably the most exciting thing for me too. So that, and then maybe the Niners drafting a running back in the third round, but we'll see where he is. I mean, the Niners just get injured running backs over and over again. So I mean, I'll see what his production is when he beats out Jermichael Hasty.
yeah. No, I mean, I think the Giants did well to trade back for like I think it was like Gettleman's first trade back in like 10 drafts or something like that. Ridiculous, but
He
I don't
won't
know
get
the
fleeced.
yeah the Tony pick was I mean I think he has a chance to be good, but I think it was kind of a curious pick for them considering they just signed Kenny Galladay, they have Sterling Shepard, they have Darius Slayton. Like I don't necessarily think he's gonna. I mean, I guess he could be competing against Slayton for like slot duties because I think he's a smaller guy. So a little bit of an interesting selection in my opinion, but I think they just made it too obvious that they wanted Devonta Smith early on,
Oh,
and the
100%.
Eagles just jumped in front.
100%. Couldn't agree with you more on that one. So I guess going back to the main question, the top three chase cards for the
Yeah.
public, just to reiterate, we're going with Trevor Lawrence,
Yep.
Zach Wilson at number two, and then really Trey Lance would be my number three, but I
Yep.
kind of have a flyer coming in here
Mhm.
where it would be Kyle Pitts kind of by week four, when I think that Trey Lance will get a little bit more forgotten about, kind of like how the recency bias in fantasy, people will just move on to something else, the new shiny object. And I think by then Kyle Pitts will really be heating up in Atlanta. And I think that that's when it'll start switching where the top three chase will be Lawrence, Zach Wilson, and Kyle Pitts. So that's what I would lock in later on in the season.
Nice. Yeah, that's a perfect segue. I was literally just gonna ask you, kind of like outside of the QBs, who do you think some people that the public would speculate on? And I mean, for me, it's gonna be Jamar Chase. I think he has great chance to just come out and produce immediately. Like he was teammates with Joe Burrow. They already have good chemistry. And it's gonna be him and T Higgins out there really competing for targets. And I think if it sounds like the Bengals think that their line is a little bit more short up than it was last year. I mean, last year was a nightmare. Obviously, we all watched that. But it sounds like from their signings and some of the pickups that they've gotten that they think it's in a little bit better place. So I don't know. Even if it's a middle of the road offensive line league wise, I think that they could have a really explosive offense with Burrow in year two.
No doubt about that. And I think that their line can be kind of a focus that they kind of shore up, I guess, more and more over the next three seasons.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess the best thing you can do is kind of keep your star or the investment of the future happy. So might as well take Burrow's comments and suggestions early and often to
Yeah.
make sure it's the team that he's going to want. Unlike what the Packers are doing with Rodgers, where they decided to ignore him completely to do everything they can to push him out of Green Bay. So I'm with you on the Jamar Chase. I think that's a great pick for him because if you add him to T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd with that target share,
Yeah, and Tyler
somebody's
Boyd,
going to
yeah.
get open. Yeah, somebody's going to get open with that. But I think that with Jamar Chase and Kyle Pitts being like the exciting weapons, one of them will probably be the one that they're chasing,
Mm-hmm.
unless Waddle or like Devontae Smith really start to heat up.
Yeah.
But I see both of them having a harder time of success or to find success
Yep.
versus Jamar Chase with a healthy Burrow. That being said, I see Kyle Pitts being a target share hound, kind of like Darren Waller and like a Kittle mix. But if all of this stuff with Julio's contract keeps progressing
Yeah.
and they really want to get rid of him, then I mean Kyle Pitts is going to be the
It's
number
gonna
one
be
option on
nuts,
that
yeah.
team. Yeah, exactly. And so, what do you really think the potential of the ceiling is for Kyle Pitts if that were the case?
I mean, he's gonna be a beast for for fantasy. I mean, I don't know. There's not really a huge market for tight ends necessarily for in terms of cards. Obviously, it's like Travis Kelce, you're going to pay a lot for. I mean, even Waller is like, Waller's probably what, the number 2 tight end right now, I would say probably. And
2, 3.
yeah, it just kind of depends. But it's like, I don't necessarily think he has a large market by any means. It's also because he's on the Raiders and we don't win games a lot. But
Right.
even with the Falcons though, like, I mean, Austin Hooper was a beast, what, 2 years ago, and got paid to go to Cleveland and basically did nothing. So I definitely think even if Julio stays, I think he's definitely gonna be seeing a lot of targets.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more on that one. That's why, excuse me. I just think that with as many fantasy people who are hyped up on the draft and collecting cards and kind of that crossover market, I think, yeah, if Kyle Pitts is really popping off and with the popularity of like tight end premium leagues and everything like that, I think that that could be the shiny object people are chasing. Plus, everybody wants the unicorn in the room, so they're going to be collecting it just because of that. But I mean, comping him to other tight ends or other, I guess, like players, it would be kind of hard to do because you're right. Kelsey's market isn't really that hot unless it's the high end cards, but that's kind of the same for any of the tight ends because
Yeah.
Kittle's low end, you can get those cheap, but Kittle's high end, the ones with the autos, like there's only like 25 and 100 of the rookie tickets. We have one, by the way.
Nice.
But I'm with you. Like, what is really the ceiling that his prices could touch? Because I'm thinking, like, looking at the Kyle Pitts field level silver select, by the way, I could see that being well over $200, especially with his XRC redemption card selling for around 524, which is
Wow.
ridiculous to me. Yeah,
Yeah, that's way too
I
high.
was yeah, I was watching those leading up to the draft, waiting for one of them to drop below 500. Finally, one was at 424, and I still
Still,
couldn't do it. That's just
yeah,
yeah.
that's nuts. Okay, so we kind of talked about, some of the guys you like, but in terms of what you kind of want to prospect on or what you want to add as maybe like a PC player, obviously Trey Lance, but is there maybe 2 other guys that you're interested in this year?
Yeah, I was gonna say Justin Fields is the other one on my list, number 2 next to Trey Lance, just because I think that the Chicago fan base is really gonna take him in, just because he's something fun or
Mhm.
like a little bit of hope in Chicago. So I could see him just getting a little bit of spike because Daniel Jones gets a spike because he's just in New York and
Right.
he's not even a good quarterback. I could see Justin Fields being a little bit better than that walking into it. And then I guess number 3. I mean, I've been kind of going back and forth on this one, but I kind of want to collect Jamar Chase just long term.
Yeah.
From what I'm hearing and what I saw with him in Burrow at LSU, I mean, he just looks like that next level type where I always like collecting a wide receiver every year anyway.
Hmm.
And last year was CD Lamb for me. So I think that this year it's probably going to be Jamar Chase because due to situation, I like that more than Waddle and I like it more than Smith. And I think that Kyle Pitts is just going to be too expensive to really make sense for me to collect early on. So with that being said, who I guess would be your top 3 PC guys to collect going into 2022?
Yeah, I think I'm pretty similar in thought to you. I definitely, for me, it's like I was thinking Justin Fields, but for whatever reason, I never have enjoyed watching the Bears or anything about the Bears really. I don't
Fair
know.
enough.
It's just not like I would watch them for David Montgomery because have him in our dynasty league. But like outside of that, I'm like the Bears are just always kind of like I don't know. They're just not a super entertaining team, and maybe he'll change that, which that's very possible.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's a super entertaining player, so maybe that'll change. But I think from the QBs, like I'll definitely be trying to be picking up some of his cards, and Jamar Chase as well. Definitely get some of his stuff. I also like Bateman. They got drafted by the Ravens,
Good pick.
and I think that's like a perfect situation for him. Which kind of leads me into I've been watching Lamar cards a lot, like recently, last few months, and Lamar's kind of at like an all-time low right now. Whereas basically most other quarterbacks right now are all-time highs or definitely higher than they were in season last year. And Lamar is like significantly lower than he's ever been. So I think that he definitely has a huge bounce back potential this year, as far as production and price.
Yeah, that's a good call too, because I kind of forgot about the drop off with Lamar, and it seems like a lot of fans or hobbyists are speculating that the Ravens might even get rid of him. I don't know where that rumor even came up,
Yeah.
but uh, I'm with you. I think that give Lamar not a COVID year. Let's like we all need to kind of think a little bit more realistically. Last year, nobody even got a training camp. Nobody got a preseason.
Hmm.
Nobody really got reps, and a lot of people took the year off. So I think it's a tremendous amount of value here in that Lamar Jackson's at an all-time low. Like you hear other people say, go out and buy these players. I think that that's probably a better buy than a lot of people are talking about,
Yeah.
especially when they're adding weapons around him.
Right.
So by
And
adding that, and then go ahead.
oh no, I was just say that's basically my thought exactly. Is it just that I've been seeing people say, oh, buy Baker Mayfield. I'm like, Baker is 2-3x what he was in season last year. Right now, it's like that just doesn't make sense to me. I guess unless you're saying the
No,
Browns are going to the Super Bowl, then it'll go up. But at that point, just bet money on the Browns going to the Super Bowl.
seriously, that's a more sound investment. I don't really see why, and also the volatility of the Baker hate to the Baker love now is
Yeah.
just ridiculous to me. One other guy that I do want to call out would be Rondale Moore going to the Cardinals. I know
Uh-huh.
they're looking for more gadget guys. He's more of a tiny receiver, but I think that he's going to look pretty good next to like D Hop and Christian. Why can't I
Kurt.
think of his name? Kurt. Yeah,
Yep.
Christian Kurt. Thank you. I think he's going to look good next to them. And I heard that he was like valedictorian or something of
Yeah,
his
smart dude.
school.
Yep.
Yeah, so I mean, Fitz will probably take him under his wing too. But I think that they're really going to set up Kyler for a lot of success next year.
Yeah.
I don't know what Kyler's cards are coming into this, but that would be one of my guys to kind of keep your eye on. They're really doing everything they can in Arizona to really set him up for
Yeah.
success.
Yeah, no, I agree as well. Yeah, Kyler, it really seems like the Cardinals are kind of making a push to try to be in serious contention here in the next, this year or the next 3-year window. I've been watching Kyler cards as well, and those are substantially up, but I think at least that has a little bit more. He's got more room to grow still, in my opinion, and he's still, he's been in the league a year less than Baker, so I think he has a
Right.
year longer with people where he still is going to be hobby relevant.
Right.
Yeah, so I like all those plays. In terms of like PC cards, it's going to be weird for me this year with Raiders. Like there's not really anything for me to collect, honestly. Like we didn't really draft offensive players that are, we drafted
Right.
line and we drafted basically safeties and linebackers. So I mean, I guess I'll be able to get some dope cards for really cheap and add them in, but yeah, nothing super exciting in terms of like Raiders breaks or anything this year for me, I don't think.
Yeah, I guess my question would be, since we know you're going to break anyway, is there a team that you think will be your break team this year?
Yeah, and I'll have to take some time and take a look at that and kind of see,
Fair.
maybe who got some second and third round guys that are going to be playing right away. Um, but yeah, I mean, obviously any of the quarterback teams are going to be expensive. I'll definitely be curious to see right away like what people are pricing all the top four quarterbacks, yeah, top 4 quarterback prices like for those teams, and kind of see like is Justin Fields, are the Bears more expensive than the Jets? Like I think that's entirely possible, but we'll see.
Right. I could see that too. And then one more bonus that I wanted to throw out there for, I guess, guys to kind of keep your eye on.
Mhm.
I know that this will probably come out in the Guru, so might as well get the keywords and the buzzes at it ahead of time. But Kyle Trask getting taken in the, I believe, the end of the second round
Yep.
by the Bucks to be understudying Brady. So
Yeah,
that's a pretty sweet situation to be in, I would say.
definitely.
So I mean, coming into a Super Bowl winning team with the weapons that all re-signed, minus AB right now at the time of
No,
recording.
I think AB
Um,
resigned.
dear God.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
Okay,
he
never
resigned
mind.
like on draft night or around then.
And I'm not doing this because I'm one of the speculative people who are like, buy Jared Stidham, but I'm going to go ahead and buy a few Kyle Trask
Yep.
because if you get the chance to study under Brady, and if Brady gets hurt or banged up and he's getting old, I know quarterbacks don't get hit at all, but if he gets banged up, that's the guy who's going to get a lot of eyes on him because he's got so many weapons around him and Bruce Arians, and that's an aired out offense when they need it to be. So I could see him being kind of one of those sleeper guys
Definitely.
where if you're getting the breaks and if they're at $32, whatever, I mean, it's still the Bucks. So I mean, people are still gonna want Brady, but second year Brady cards, we'll see what people want for him. I'm just saying, keep Kyle Trask on the radar, just as one of those cheap, affordable, maybe value buy guys.
Yeah, no, I like that a lot as well. Definitely someone that I'll probably, try to grab like some silver prism or something like that, like maybe a little higher end,
Right, right. Not the
common-ish
Donruss.
card, but
Right.
some higher end stuff as a kind of a stash for a couple of years down the line.
Yeah, good call.
All right, man. Well, anything else for today?
No, I think we pretty much covered everything, but hopefully we get more into a groove doing this, maybe weekly. Try and drop some of these pods. Be
Definitely.
sure to check out all of our stuff. We got IG, we got plugs, we got YouTube. Go and send us off, Albo.
Yep. So all of that's going to be down in the description, Instagram. Obviously, if you guys watch on YouTube, thank you. We appreciate it. Make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel if you're new. And thank you guys for listening/watching. And hopefully we will see you in the next one. Peace.